Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to pull you straight into the mud of the Roman military machine and follow your grueling 25-year climb to the top. We're going to experience exactly what it took to survive the most disciplined, effective, and frankly ruthless army of the ancient world. So get ready, because you are about to step right into the boots of a Roman soldier, starting from the very bottom of the ranks, all the way up to the absolute peak of command. I want you to take a look around. 80. That is the exact number of recruits standing beside you right now. 80 guys swearing the sacramentum, the sacred, unbreakable oath of loyalty to the Emperor of Rome. Now, the second that oath leaves your lips, you belong to the Legion. But as you're standing there in the dirt, you really have to ask yourself, out of these 80 hopeful faces, how many do you think will actually survive to the very end? Keep that in the back of your mind as we begin our march.
All right, Chapter 1, the mud and the oath.
Your life starts at the absolute bottom. You're a tyro, an inexperienced recruit, and honestly, you're barely even considered a person by Rome at this point. Your past life, it's gone. Your identity, erased. Your only value now is what you can bring to this relentless war machine. And they definitely do not ease you into it. You are forced to swing a wooden sword, which, by the way, is actually twice the weight of a real one, against a wooden post 10,000 times. You do this until the strike lives in your muscles, not your mind. And very quickly, you figure out exactly why Roman soldiers were called Marius mules. You are hauling 40 kilograms of armor, weapons, stakes, tools, and food entirely on your own back. To put the sheer physical devastation of this lifestyle into perspective, modern geophysical research has mapped out the energy expenditure of these legionaries. You are burning roughly 6,000 kilocalories a day. That is massive. You're marching up to 29 kilometers across rough dirt roads with that 40-kilogram load, drinking up to 11 liters of water just to stave off heat stress. It is literally pushing the absolute limits of human endurance. And guess what? When you finally graduate to a miles, a fully fledged regular legionary, the suffering doesn't stop. Your day doesn't end just because the marching does. Every single evening, after hiking for hours, your unit has to dig a massive ditch and build a fortified wooden camp totally from scratch. You catch maybe a few hours of sleep, and then you tear the entire fort down at dawn, just so you can do it all again. It goes to show, Rome didn't just win battles by fighting. They won by completely outworking everyone they ever met.
Inside this vast, grinding machine, your entire world shrinks down to just 7 other guys. Your conturbium. You share a single leather tent, one cooking pot, a pack mule, and every single miserable night of your service. In this tight-knit brotherhood, it becomes absolutely essential for a pretty heartbreaking reason. Military law strictly forbids you to marry during your enlistment. Any woman you love, any child you father, they do not legally exist to the empire. Basically, you gave Rome your family before you even had the chance to start one. So these 7 guys in the mud, they become your only family.
Chapter 2, escaping the ditch.
Let's say you survive your first few campaigns and battles. This is the stage where most recruits die as just nameless men holding a line. The guy beside you falls, and you just step right into his place. But finally, somebody up the chain of command notices you've got some valuable skills. The Legion offers you a quiet, life-saving secret. You get to become an immunes. As a specialist, maybe you're an engineer who can bridge a river in 10 days, or a medic, you are suddenly exempt from the brutal daily labor of ditch digging. Plus, you get better pay. But this safety comes with a heavy price. In an army that is built entirely on enduring the exact same misery together, buying your body a rest costs you the trust of your brothers. They're still out there digging in the mud, and trust me, they're going to watch you with some deep resentment.
Moving on to Chapter 3, enforcing the line.
Now, the dynamic completely shifts. You aren't just a cog in the machine anymore. You are the one deciding who lives, who dies, and who holds the line. You've been promoted to an optio, the centurion's second in command. And your literal placement on the battlefield tells you everything you need to know about how Rome actually fights. You don't stand at the front. No, you stand at the very back of your unit, holding a long wooden staff. Your main job isn't to fight the enemy in front of you, it's to physically stop your own shield brothers from running away when the absolute terror of combat sets in.
And if a unit did break and run, well, Rome's response was a terrifying practice that we still use the name of today, decimation. The cowardly unit would be split into groups of 10. They drew lots, and the one loser, he was brutally beaten to death by the other 9, by his own tent mates, his own friends.
So, here is the crucial point.
Rome did not conquer the known world simply because Romans were just naturally braver than everyone else. They conquered it through absolute, uncompromising psychological terror and rigid discipline. A Roman soldier held the line because he was infinitely more afraid of his officers and the punishments waiting behind him than he was of the army screaming in front of him.
Chapter 4, Carrying the Eagle. So you survived to see half of your original Oath brothers fall. But as you climb the ranks, the burden only gets heavier, and you actually step into the deadliest part of the entire battlefield. First, you become the signifer, the standard bearer for your century. You're wearing this terrifying bear's hide draped right over your helmet so your men can spot you through the chaos and the smoke. But fascinatingly, you're also acting as the unit's bank. Soldiers hand you their life savings for safekeeping, so you are quite literally carrying the financial security and the fighting courage of your men on your shoulders.
Then you make it to the rank of Aquilifer. You are now the bearer of the Legion's sacred gold eagle. You're holding the very soul of 5,000 men on a single pole, and you have to stand exactly where the killing is the absolute worst. And you've sworn to the death to never drop it. I mean, when 3 of these eagles were lost in the disastrous battle of the Teutoburg Forest, those legions were essentially erased from history. Rome spent decades and thousands of lives just trying to claw those eagles back. That is the tremendous weight you're carrying in your hands.
Which brings us to Chapter 5, the burden of command. Despite all the odds, you carry that eagle forward, and you survive. Now, you cross the widest, most difficult gap in the whole Roman army. You officially become an officer, a centurion. You command roughly 80 men, and you're instantly identified by your sideways helmet crest and your vites, that twisted vine staff used to violently discipline soldiers. But here's the thing. Unlike modern generals, centurions led directly from the absolute front of the formation. It was a huge honor, but also kind of a death sentence, which is exactly why centurions died significantly faster in a hard battle than anyone else they commanded.
Now, if you somehow manage to survive your horrific time at the front, you reach this almost mythical rank, the primus pilus, or the first spear. You are now the single most senior centurion in the entire legion. Just think about that. The boy who started barefoot in the mud swinging a wooden stick now sits in war councils forcing wealthy senators to actually stop and listen to his battlefield wisdom. It earns you a massive payout and literally buys your way into the Roman aristocracy.
You made it! Against all odds, you did it. But as you stand at that summit and look back down the formation, you realize a pretty haunting truth. Out of the 80 men who stood beside you and swore that oath on day 1, only 6 faces are left alive to share this moment with you.
Chapter 6, the Empire's True Architects.
At this absolute summit of your 25-year climb, a really harsh reality sets in. You realize there is a class ceiling made of solid marble that your blood and your merit can never ever break through. Because above you sit the legatus and the tribunes. These are men born into unimaginable wealth. You watch a 20-year-old aristocrat roll into camp with totally clean hands, just serving a few soft years to launch his political career. On his very first day, he completely outranks everything you bled 25 years to achieve, and you have to salute him anyway.
Eventually, your 25 years are up. You receive your premia, your honorable discharge, your parcel of land, and your retirement silver. You walk away a free, wealthy man. But of the 80 brothers you started with, only 3 walk away with you.
You know, history loves to build monuments to the wealthy senators and the emperors sitting in their clean tents, but it tends to forget the nameless men who actually built the forts, burned the 6,000 calories a day, held that terrifying line, and bled into the mud. But following this journey proves that you, the common soldier swinging a wooden sword, you are the one who actually built Rome. You didn't just serve the empire, you were the empire.
Long after the golden eagles are melted down and the names wear right off the monuments, the stubborn dirt roads you built across the continent remain. But as you look back down that long, brutal path, you've got to ask yourself a final question. Would you trade 25 years of terror, endless mud, and 77 of your brothers just for a patch of land and a road carved in stone? In the end, was the brutal climb to the top truly worth the price of ambition?